Hello everybody, this is Solartiger with a miscellaneous video. Today is Sunday the 14th of December and the time now is approximately 5:45 in the evening. This video is going to be a bit of an odds and ends video. I will go into different things. Okay, if I show you outside, it's very dark. You probably can't see anything out there, but I will tell you that I can see the wind charger is barely turning. It's the night time now. Okay, this is my solar power box and it's running my 12 volt DC charger. We got some AA and AAA batteries in. Some of them are done now. The ones with the green lights are finished. So that's me using the power box. On this side we have the two lanterns, the small lantern and the big lantern on the Sunsaver Duo, powered from the lanterns are charged with the 20 watt panel and the power box with the 50 watt panel. It's just maintaining them. If I come to the main system, and I tell you that we peaked at 75 watts from the solar panels, which is 97.4 watt hours. That's 2 amps peak from the panels and 2.29 amp hours. There wasn't much sun today, so that's not good. On the wind front, we peaked at, let's wait for a minute, peaked at 12 watts last night, and that was a current of 0.9 amps, and we produced just over half an amp hour and 3.7 watt hours, so that's pretty low. You can see the lights cutting in because I have the voltage converter connected. Now you can see when the voltage converter is being used, we're only producing small amounts of power, 0.1, 2, up to 0.5, maybe 1 or 2 watts even. That 12 watts was with it going straight through last night. It was gusty last night. On the whole though, I think that with the amount of money I spent on the wind charger and the charge controller and the return I'm getting on it, it's not brilliant. I'm not getting lots of power from it. So my advice would be not to buy a commercial unit if you live in a built up area like I do. I would recommend that you tried a home built DIY version, as it would be a lot cheaper and you can see how you go. So that's what I'm thinking. Elsewhere, I've been charging up my headphones, my Bluetooth headphones receiver. I was playing some music over these speakers, the mini speakers. I have put a 12 volt plug on the power lead and it plugs into the jack on my desk. So I was playing music through those. I had the audio connector plugged into my Bluetooth headphone receiver, and I was playing the music from my iPod, the one that I'm making the video with. So that works fine. That means that I can have my iPod charging and I can run the speakers from the 12 volt battery bank. I am running my LED light. Okay, I've been charging my electrical devices from the mains because I'm not having much power coming in from the solar panels or the wind generator, so that's why I'm not using the power inverter. I have been using the plug socket on the wall, so that's not so great. But the thing is, when you're not getting much power in from the solar panels or the wind generator, the batteries need to be maintained, even though that the batteries have a label on the front that this one doesn't, but I shall get another one. Okay, these batteries, these so-called sealed lead-acid batteries, the AGM type, have a label. This one's funny because it doesn't say it on this one either. Let's see if I can find one that does. Very funny. But anyway, some of these batteries, or most of these batteries, are so-called maintenance-free batteries. But that does not mean that you can just leave them and use them as and when you want and expect them to work. If you leave these batteries for a long time, they do self-discharge, and if you leave them for a long time, several months plus, you will find that they run down, and you will find them very hard to charge up, or in some cases you can never charge them up, like in the case of this battery and the other battery. If you leave them for a long time, they sulfate up and then they become useless. I learned this through experience. This battery is a brick, along with this one and that one. So I have learnt the hard way that to keep these batteries working, they need to be charged regularly. So this is why that the 55 amp hour battery in the power box and the 20 amp hour in this battery in this lantern and the two 6-volt ones in this lantern, I maintain the charge on these by connecting them to a solar charge controller and solar panels. This one has the solar charge controller inside the box and it's connected to solar panels as well. And this means they are maintained. They get a top-up charge every day, so that when I want to use them, they will always be ready for use and they will always work. Lead acid batteries need to be maintained. They need maintenance charging, so they are not completely maintenance free. This is very true if you have large batteries, such as the 3 100 amp hour batteries in the main bank. They are very expensive and they need to be maintained. These ones, the ones inside this box, are connected to the main panels outside through the MPPT charge controller. So lead acid batteries need regular charging, either to replace the power that you have used or just a maintenance top-up charge to cover the self-discharge. They may self-discharge very slowly, but they definitely do. Now, as today I said that the charging was poor due to the weather conditions, and the wind is, well, in my experience, it's not to be relied on. It's more of a, every now and again you get a gust and a pulse of charge, but it's not going to do any proper charging. My main charging is from the solar. That is my main charging. Now, as I said, because the conditions were not as very good, I'm using the battery charger to charge up the main bank. I need these to be in good condition all the time because I have several £100 in these batteries, so they need looking after. I charged all my devices from the grid. Now that's how that works. So if you're going to consider wind in a built up area, I would go down the DIY route. It is much cheaper, and if it doesn't go so great for you, then you haven't lost so much money. So that's what I'm thinking. Also, another thing is where you locate your battery bank. I am in an upstairs room with wooden floors. Now, the batteries in the main bank weigh approximately 30 kilos each, and there are 3 in this box, so that's a combined weight of 90 kilos, and then there's the structure that surrounds it. So I would generously add another couple of kilos, say 10 kilos to be generous. So that's 100 kilos. So that is heavy. So you would want to locate your bank near to an exterior wall, which is what I have here, so that the floor is supported by the wall. If you put it away from the wall, it would put undue stress on the floor. Lead acid batteries are heavy, so that's another thing to consider. And batteries come in different qualities. This is a platinum lead acid battery. It's AGM battery. Now this one can have an initial charging current of 6 amps, whereas the cheaper battery that I have here, I shall just pop it up here. This one has a maximum charging current of 3 amps, so the higher quality battery can take twice the current to charge faster. So as I said before, this battery is a brick. I was learning how to care for batteries at the time, and I neglected this one, so it's dead. So I learnt this with these batteries, so I'm taking care of the ones in the main bank. Okay. Right, if I just come to the figures, I'll use this to hold this up. Okay, as you can see here, I'm just resting here. Okay, if I just choose any day, I will choose the 11th of December. Okay, you can see that the figure up here, the 37 watts was the peak from the solar panels. I peaked at just over an amp with the solar panels. That was 76.5 watt hours for the day and 1.99 amp hours. Now for the wind generator, the numbers are in pencil, so you might not see too well, but this number here says 24.8 watts on the wind generator. That was a charging current of 1.75 amps, but you can see that that only happened for a very short period because we only generated 10 watt hours, and for the day that was 1.05 amp hours. Now that's the highest I've had out of my wind generator, and considering how much money I have spent, that return is pretty poor. So that's why I said that I would recommend you try the DIY route. And this is Solartiger saying goodbye and thank you for watching.